Welcome everyone. If you could have lunch or coffee with just one person on earth, who would it be? Past, present, or future? Today I'm going to speak to you about a man, to me, that embodies everything that is in a courageous individual. I'm going to speak about my father, Daniel Payne. When I think about him, I think about three things in particular: his strong work ethic, his extreme talent, and his love for life and for his family. So I'm going to speak about those things today. Growing up, my father was probably sick one time that I can remember, ever. To me, he was Superman. And to see him sick that one time was pretty crazy because it never happened. It didn't happen very often. He was always working, no matter what. Evenings, weekends, Monday through Friday, 9-to-5 schedules didn't apply to him. He was a lead carpenter for a construction company, but he also had his own construction company, which he would do side jobs on and stuff, and with the ultimate goal of just getting ahead. He always wanted to better our station in life growing up. But that's not all that encompasses my father. Although he's a really hard worker, he was also a very talented individual. As you see here, this is him growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio. He started playing guitar at an early age, which he kept on through the rest afterwards. Also, my father was known for his humor and his infectious, boisterous laugh. And he would tell you that he's not a people person, but I tell you what, this guy can work a room. And even though he says he's not a people person, anybody who's ever met him would tell you otherwise. Here's a picture of my father with my mother and with us when we were younger. To my father, family was everything. It was the most important thing. He made sure that he spent time with us individually as children growing up, whether it was going to my sporting events or my sister's sporting events, or riding a bike with my sister, or playing basketball with me, or strolling my little sister until she fell asleep. And then with my older sister, he'd give her money because that's what she really liked. No, I'm just kidding. They spent time on the phone and they talked because she liked that too. And so, when I think about my father, strong work ethic, very talented and a people person. And he loved his family more than anybody that I've ever met. And so when I think about him, this is one of my favorite pictures here, taken probably in the early 1980s. That's my father looking on. When I asked you guys earlier, who would you most like to have lunch with or coffee with? And I would choose my father. He passed away in 1997 on Valentine's Day, unexpectedly. But like this picture shows, he's still looking on. He's still with us today. And although we'll never see him grow old and gray and playing with his grandchildren, with his great-grandchildren, I know that he still has a strong influence on every one of us kids because we still talk about him all the time. I'm going to be a father myself, and my kid's going to know who my dad was through stories that still live on and through the values that he instilled in each one of us children that still carries on. And so even though he's been gone for 18 years in a physical form, he's still here in our very cores, in everyday life. We still think about him often. And it just goes to show you that some people can't be confined to one certain time or one certain era, that they transcend those. And to me, my father transcends time. My father, just like this picture shows, is still with us. He's still with me. And that his impact will always be felt. And so, as my sisters would say, he was a rugged mountain man with a hippie flair. Finally got that right about a few times. And so that would be the best way to describe if you're going to try to describe him. Because he was a Marine / guitar player / father / husband / prankster that loved life. And that his impact will still always be felt, and we'll always still continue to tell stories about him. And so if I could just sit down and have coffee with him, I'd ask him, how are you such a great dad? You know, how did you love with such a big heart? How did you find ways to laugh when it wasn't best time, but you still found the humor in it? Those are questions that I would ask him. And I'm sure he would just tell me, he'd say, hey, Payne, there's plenty of time for that. Why don't you just tell your sisters that I love them very much. Take care of your family, and give that little kid of yours a hug.